We are going to go straight into it if that's cool with you, and we're going to start with Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris, if you had a question for Coach Lashlee.
Yeah, Coach, curious what you're most pleased with this month of practices, and then also on the flip side, maybe some things to work on as well that you're looking at.
Yeah, man, I'm just really pleased with our guys' buy-in to what we're doing. Completely changing just our style of play on offense from what the guys did last year. Their attitude's been great. Their effort's been great. They've really received coaching well from coaches and really bought into what we're trying to do. I think they're excited about what we're trying to do. In terms of things to work on, I mean, I think, like anybody in an unusual year, whoever can be in the best physical and mental shape, I think is going to have a chance. And also just the attention to detail and the level of execution. I think it's one thing to be in physical shape, and sometimes that first game's always tough. And, we're going to be playing an opponent who's already kind of gotten that first game out of the way. We're going to have to find a way to push through that physical barrier when you get tired. But hopefully we're making practice hard enough they'll be ready to do that. But also mental toughness is hard. Who can execute when they're tired? Who can execute when things aren't going great? How do we respond to adversity? That's all stuff we got to keep working on. I'm excited to see how we respond to. And then just attention to detail and execution. Our guys know what to do. After our scrimmages and practices, I feel like our guys are going to know what to do. It's not only can they know what to do, but can they execute at a high level, especially consistently over and over and over again for 4 quarters and when they get a little bit tired.
Coach, we're going to go to Matt Baker at the Tampa Bay Times. Matt, if you had a question for Coach Lashlee.
Hey, Rhett. I'm just curious where you are in the preseason practice now. What have you learned about De'Aaron King that you didn't know when you had him in the spring?
Oh, man. I've learned that, he's got really good instincts at quarterback. It's not just – he's smart. He can know what to do. He knows what we're doing. Obviously, he throws it well. He runs it well. But, he has good intangibles, good instincts at the position. Some guys kind of get a knock, but at times that are really athletic and have just only thrown the ball deep. They don't maybe understand coverages and have a feel for what people are doing to him. He's a quick study. He understands space. He understands the game, and he understands how defenses play, and he rarely makes the same mistake twice, which is good.
Coach, we're going to go to David Ferones at the Sun Sentinel. David, if you had a question for Coach Lashlee.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to know if you've noticed any kind of – I know you only had him spring before this, but any noticeable jump in Mark Pope's game from the spring to fall camp here?
Yeah, I have. I think Mark's been one of our guys that has gotten steadily better, as camp's gone on. And I think that's because, hopefully we're putting him in a position to be successful by doing the same stuff over and over again. And I think success breeds confidence. I think, repetition is the mother of all learning. So he gets to do things over and over again. I think, he continues to gain confidence. And when you're a confident player, you're going to play better. I know that sounds like a real profound statement, but that's the truth. And so I think he's been steadily getting better because I think he's really gaining confidence in what to do. I think he's always known he's got good ability, but he feels really confident, I think, in what we're asking him to do.
Coach, next we got Chris Perkins from Sports Illustrated. Chris?
Hey, Rhett, last season, SMU averaged about 80 plays a game. Miami averaged about 65 plays a game. What are 2 or 3 keys to extending that 65 past what it was last season? And you could go on the field or off the field with this answer.
Yeah, well, I think obviously just the style of play will help because we're going to try to play with a little more tempo than I think they did last year. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're huddling or not huddling, trying to go fast or not. You got to execute. If you're going really fast and you don't execute, all you're doing is going 3 and out really fast. And so the way you run over 80 plays a game consistently, the way you have a chance to stay on the field is by, gaining first downs. And so, that's a big deal for us, getting off to good starts and drives and getting first downs, just like it is for a defense trying to get off the field in 3 plays. So we've got to get that initial first down. We've got to execute to stay on the field. Otherwise, we're just going to be running plays really fast and punting faster than we want to.
Great. Coach, we got David Wilson from the Miami Herald. David, if you had a question for Coach Lashlee.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to follow up a little bit on Mark Pope there because, he's a guy that I think everyone knows he's got the talent. Even when Coach Likens came in, he was kind of one of the first guys he singled out, even though he hadn't necessarily put up the kind of production. When you kind of look at him from last year, maybe just like on tape, are there certain like areas where you could kind of immediately like you and I guess Coach Likens could like immediately point to him and be like, you got to do something different here? Like, were there technical aspects of his game that were needed to be cleaned up when you came in too?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Likens has worked hard with those guys on their releases and a lot of fundamental things that we can always get better at. I think they have been working hard at that and getting better at that. I think the biggest thing for Mark, and it's with any player, and I've said since I've gotten here, is you want guys to play fast mentally. And when guys are hesitant, when guys are unsure of what to do, maybe overloaded with what's going on, they just seem to play slower without the ball, getting off covered press, running routes. There's a hesitation there, and it's hard to play to your best when you're hesitant and not confident. And so, what we've tried to do as a staff is do what our guys do best, put them in position where they've done stuff over and over and over again to where they can gain that confidence where they're not hesitant. So hopefully, you see not only with Mark, but all our guys that are playing fast and reacting, not just physically. Obviously, they're physically faster, they wouldn't be here, but more in the mental aspect.
Coach, we got time for a couple more. We're going to go to Manny Navarro at The Athletic. Manny, if you had a question for Coach Lashlee.
Hey, Coach Lashlee, I got a phone call in the middle when you first started this, so if somebody asked you, I apologize. But I want to ask you about the offensive line and, if you had kind of settled in with some decisions there. I know Usman Traore had originally been getting some first-team snaps. He's a guy that didn't play a whole lot last year. I want to get your opinion on him and where he's at. And just the left side of the offensive line. It seems like there's less experience maybe there than on the right side.
Yeah, I think Us has been very steady, has had a really nice camp. And so I don't really know about what it was like last year, but I know from this year he's been steady for us, which has been nice to see. I think all those guys are improving. We've been able to keep a lot of them in the same spots now for the last week and a half, which has been good. There's still good competition. Again, being such a weird year, I think we've at least put them in spots, but where they can try to get consistent and develop, some continuity. But at the same time, we've got some good competition, and we're going to need all those guys the way this year goes, because whether it's injuries or with all the testing that's going to happen, excuse me, we're probably going to get through this weekend before we totally set everything. Coach Diaz will kind of handle that. But I just think, like you're saying, whether it's John Campbell and Zion and Uz and Jakai, that's some young guys that have done some nice job. And on that left side that, I think every practice is valuable right now as we're trying to get ready to play.
Thank you.
Coach, we're going to wrap up with Susan Miller-Degnan of the Miami Herald. Susan, if you had a question for Coach Lashlee.
Hey, Coach Lashlee. We always ask the players this, but what do you think it'll be like for you on opening night? Also, what are your expectations for your team that night? And, how do you think you'll feel emotionally? And I have a follow-up too.
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I don't know if anything's normal this year, whether you've been here 20 years or it's your first year. I mean, from just the, not having full stadiums to masks and all the things that we're going to do to keep our guys and ourselves safe. And, what I really hope is that, as soon as that first ball is kicked off, that for the most part for the players and for the coaches, that'll be about 3 hours that we're just doing what a lot of us have done our whole life, and coaching and playing football and bringing some joy to their lives and to people around the country. And that's what I hope. I have no idea what to expect. And I think that's what first games are about. Typically it's what's the opponent going to do, how your guys are going to respond, but there's a whole lot of other what ifs probably this year. So we'll see. My expectations is for our guys to play really hard. I want our guys to play hard. I want our guys to not only know what to do, like we said, but execute and just play their best. And if their best isn't good enough, then that's fine. But I want our guys to play hard, play together, play tough, and just play 4 quarters and find a way to finish and see what we can do. I think this year, like any year, but being the first year in a new system, a lot of new guys, I mean, each week you hope to get a little bit better. And there's going to be a lot of good, and there's going to be a lot of oh my early on, and that's just kind of part of it, and we just got to find a way to push through it.
That's good. You really answered my follow also. Thank you.
Okay.
Great. Coach Lashlee, love it. Coach Lashlee, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
Appreciate y'all.